Hello, welcome to the Stay Informed podcast. I'm Kaylee Ames, and today I'm here with
Campbell Festivan
and our principal,
Ashley Bahr.
And today we're going to be talking about Helena High's most recent achievement, which is the Blue Ribbon School Lighthouse Status.
So, Ms. Bahr, can you explain to us what it means to be recognized as a Blue Ribbon School and a Lighthouse School?
Sure. So, first of all, what I guess I want to explain that you would want to know, I'm making an assumption that you would want to know it.
Yeah.
Specifically, what are you interested in knowing about?
I mean, what was like the journey like, and what does that mean for us going into the future?
Awesome. That's good. So the journey was about a year and a half ago. We saw that the elementary school was pursuing it and thought that this was something that we would want to do too. And so I reached out to Miss Holcomb, who was the principal at that time, and she told me about her journey. She walked me through it a little bit. And then I registered a group of teachers to go to a conference so that we could learn more about it. Now, once we were there, we decided that there was some work that we needed to do prior to our assessors coming out. So we worked on our vision and mission statement over the summer, and I got a group of teachers who made a commitment to going with me for 2 years. So that kind of started the whole process. Yeah. Afterwards, what we ended up doing was we tweaked a few things dealing with culture of the school, specifically for students, and then we invited our assessors to come for 2 days to come walk through the school.
I remember that so well, yes. Because I remember everybody was like, okay, like, this is very important, guys. Come on, guys, you got to be on your A game this week.
There was a lot of pressure, I think, for everybody.
Yes. Yeah, because our teachers were stressed, students were stressed.
Yes.
Because, like, you'd be walking the hallway, you see somebody dressed all fancy, and you're like, oh, I know who that is.
Yeah.
I know why you're here.
Yeah.
Do you think you could go into more detail about, like, what specifically was changed, like you said, within, like, the culture of the students?
Sure. So if you noticed at the beginning of this year, we had the Husky character traits all across the wall.
Right up there.
Yeah, you see it up there. You probably see it in all of the classrooms.
Yes.
You see it in the hallways. That was one of the things that we were intentional about. And so we did that. Now we have monthly character trait highlights that we do on Husky TV.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I remember at like the beginning of the year, the student of the month would be somebody who exhibited one of those. Like, I remember one of my friends did it for honesty because she somebody marked something wrong right on her test, but she actually got it wrong, and then she got student of the month.
That's right. And so we're still doing that, and we have different groups that have taken a character trait to highlight that every single month.
Yeah. So what specific programs or initiatives help the school earn this? Like, what do you think specifically caused such a high up thing? Yeah,
no, I think that really what caught the attention of our assessors is the culture of the school. Like all of the things that you see in the culture, the characteristics that you see posted, those are things that we already do.
Yeah.
The only reason why we posted it is just as a reminder and just to highlight the fact that this is what makes a Husky. Yeah. It's also in line with what the middle school put on theirs. So we actually collaborated on that so that we could have a vertical.
Didn't know that.
Yes. So it's 612. Oh. Yeah, absolutely. So I think the assessors really enjoyed walking around, seeing the interaction between students and teachers, teachers to teachers. And then they also used, do you remember doing surveys?
Yes.
Yes.
I remember doing that in my math class.
Yes.
I was in my Spanish class.
Yes. And did your computer go down?
I remember there were a lot of problems with that because it happened to like 5 different people in that class.
Yes, because we tried to do it all at the same time, which was a mistake. We found out afterwards. But we had to send surveys to students. We had to send them to parents. We had to send them to teachers. And the questions were different. But in the end, what I saw was the results of all of that. That went into the percentage of what they gave us in each category to determine whether or not we met an indicator. So there were roughly 110 questions that they were looking at to determine if you met, I believe it was 9 indicators. Yes, 9 indicators. And so what you had to do with those indicators is make at least an 80%. Okay? Well, what we wanted was 100% in all of it. 80%, that's great. You know, that's what we needed to get Lighthouse.
We strive for excellence here.
But we do, absolutely. And so that's what we wound up with was 100% in all of those categories. Yes.
hey, I mean, a win is a win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how has this recognition impacted like the teachers, students, staff, like everyone like in our school?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question. What I feel like afterwards in announcing that and sharing, I want people to understand what it is because it's a national recognition. It's not something that we should take lightly. There are not a lot of high schools that are recognized for Blue Ribbon. There are more. It's heavily weighted on the elementary side of things, but it's not on the high school because the way to get it in terms of assessments, it's a lot harder. Because we have to look at report card scores and we have ACT to go off of. They don't have that in elementary school. Okay, so that's one of the things that when we are recognized as Lighthouse, which is the top tier, they have 4 designations. Lighthouse is the top. When you're recognized as that, that means that that's how you match up with all the schools that have ever applied in the nation.
Wow. So this is like a lot bigger than, because I know, like, I remember hearing about it and I didn't know much about it, so I thought it was still a big deal, but not as big as a deal as like this is not worldwide, but like a big thing. A lot of people do this. This is a little bit off topic, but did the elementary school get Lighthouse?
They did. They did. Yes.
When did they get that? Last year?
Yeah, that was
the elementary school got recognized last year.
Okay.
We got recognized with the intermediate school this year. The intermediate school did as well.
I remember when the elementary school did that. My mom's a teacher at the elementary school, so I knew like all about it.
Yes.
So has the middle school?
They are looking into it for next year.
Okay, we got to get
make
all
it its own
Helena.
thing. That's
all
the
Helena
plan. That's the plan.
Hey, that's gonna look really good.
Really I know.
Hey.
I know.
Yeah.
And see that response is why it's something to be proud of.
Yeah. So, what were really like the major challenges along the way, and how do you think the school and staff overcame that?
You know, I don't think there were any challenges for the students, the teachers, because we have everything in place, in my opinion. When we went to the conference and we saw some of the other schools there that were presenting, we knew that our teachers, our performance, our students matched what they were sharing with us. The things that we had in place for character, the things that we had in place for clubs, that we have those things here. We just need to figure out how to highlight them. So I think that was the challenge, how to make sure that we have more of a social media presence.
How to stand for them.
Yes, exactly. The other thing is the challenge for kind of the people who were trying to pull all of this stuff together was just getting all of the documentation and making sure it was the right documentation they wanted to see. That was a lot.
Yeah, I bet that was, because I mean that's like what, 10 years of school records?
Yes.
Yeah.
They want to see assessments. They want to see what are you doing with curriculum documents. They want to look at those surveys, which again were very intense when you try to pull those together. They had a student panel, a teacher panel, and a community member panel. So we had to contact them to try to get them to come in.
I had no idea that they were all different questions. I thought everybody got that.
They're all different questions?
They were.
Oh.
There were some that were similar, but there were some that only applied to maybe teachers that didn't necessarily apply to students. Some that may be there for,
So it was a lot more personal, and there was a lot more effort put into it that I remember most students didn't really understand that. We didn't know that it was so much more personal.
That's right.
To school and to like individual people.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So going forward, Miss Bahr, do you think there's anything else that like the school can improve on?
Like any improvement?
You know what? I think that there's always room for growth. You know, if you're not looking for what that next thing is and what it is that you can improve upon, you just stay stagnant.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's what we're about. And so I think there's always room for growth.
Always something new you can do.
Always something new that you can do. Yeah, just to step it up, even if it's just a minor tweak.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with that, because constant change can be really beneficial, especially in school, because you always have a new generation pretty much coming in.
Like there's like different like problems that you need to solve, like, you know.
You never know what it is from year to year, you know, and it could be something that you see as a trend over time that eventually shows itself and you need to go and address it.
Yeah, I mean, this has been very, what's that word, informal? No.
Informative.
That's what it is. Informal, that's definitely the right
That's
word.
not what this is.
Guys, I promise, I learned in my English class, I promise I pay attention.
Yes. This has been a lot of fun talking to you guys about
this
it.
This has been really cool to learn like more about like what this like means for our school and stuff.
Yes.
Because I didn't know like basically anything about this.
No.
And I don't think anybody, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to you guys, because I want to see what is it that from a student perspective you would like to know more about, so I can make sure I'm sharing that in a way that you care and understand. Right.
Hey, I think that field day did great for a lot of us to care.
Yes.
Is there anything else you want to share about it, or?
No, I think that's it. I think that we just continue down this road. So what we do from here is we renew in 5 years. And what that means is that basically it's just an application at that point. Once you get blue ribbon, it's a lot easier. Now, where it does deviate is if there's a change in administration, or if somebody comes in there and changes something holistically that we had in place for this, and then we invited them back in to come and see, hey, what do you think about this? But right now, we're just going to kind of continue on the same path. And if you've noticed in some of the rooms, one of the things that we posted was make an A the Husky way. That was one of the recommendations from our assessors, was that they said what we would like to see is y'all become an A school. Because right now we have a B on our report card, and that doesn't mean a whole lot to y'all, because that's really a big thing when you break it down and what all it means. And if you look on those posters, it talks about how attendance and accountability, ACT accountability and achievement all factor into that. Graduation rates, now our CCR data, college and career readiness, the thing that is going to impact you guys. That's how we earn an A. So I think if you're going to ask me what is our next step, what are we doing next, that's it.
Get that A.
Yeah. Okay. And I think we're on our way.
Yeah.
So.
Get an A the Husky way.
Get an A the Husky way. There you go.
Okay, well, I think that's all we have for you, and that's all we have for all of our viewers and listeners. So I hope y'all walk away feeling a little bit more proud about this Lighthouse status that we've got and a deeper understanding of it. So don't forget to stay informed.